Hi everyone, greetings. I'm Dr. Muyoka. Karibu sana. Welcome to my channel, Retracing My Africa in the Diaspora. Guys, if you're new here, please feel welcome and please consider subscribing to my channel. Today's video, I'm going to be talking about a new immigration policy that has just been introduced in the United States of America that is going to have implications for many of us that are originally from Africa and are looking to migrate to the US of A. Now, guys, for those of you who have been watching the news, you know that in the last couple of hours, President Donald J. Trump has been inaugurated officially as the 47th President of the United States of America. Okay? And since, I don't know how many of you watched that ceremony last night, if you are in Eastern Africa, I don't know how many of you watched, but I watched the ceremony last night. And I can tell you that it was very pompous and interesting, okay? And after that ceremony, the president had some things to do, believe you me. And according to the news, as we have seen, the president has since signed several executive orders that has changed immigration laws and many other laws that were present during the Biden-Harris era. And I came to do this video specifically because I wanted to talk about a new executive order that the president Donald Trump has signed into place that would be, interesting for those of you that are considering migrating to the US as asylum seekers or refugees. So the president has signed an executive order to suspend the US refugee admission program. Okay, this program typically allows refugees or people who are seeking asylum to the United States to move over there. Yeah, but now the president says that entry into the United States of America under the U.S. refugee admissions program would be detrimental to the interests of the United States of America. That's partly what the order reads, guys. Yeah, and let me just kind of explain a little bit. Okay, if you have time, you can actually Google this document. You'll find it online. But the president says that there's just been such a huge influx of refugees across the United States. He actually gives examples. Cities like Whitewater, Wisconsin, in south side of Chicago, I believe, in New York, in Denver, Colorado, in Springfield, Ohio, and elsewhere. There's just too many refugees. And the argument is that these refugees are causing, the influx is causing, it's putting pressure on these cities, the people that live in these communities, also in terms of the economic aspect of it. Just there's a whole explanation that the president has given as to why he thinks this should be halted. So the Secretary of Homeland Security shall suspend decisions on applications for refugee status until a finding is made in accordance with the Section 4 of this order. So I'm going to read briefly for you what the Section 4 says so you can understand. Within 90 days of this order, the Secretary of Homeland Security, in consultation with the Secretary of State, shall submit a report to the President through Homeland Security Advisor regarding whether resumption of entry of refugees would be in the interest of the United States. Yeah. So this suspension is in place to give time to the Secretary of State and the Secretary of Homeland Security to do their research and find out if continuing this program would be of interest to the US. That's what's been said in the order. Then, guys, I'm also going to go ahead and let you know that even though this is the case, the order still states that the Secretary of State and the Secretary of Homeland Security still retain some powers to jointly determine whether they can still admit certain aliens to the US as refugees on a case-by-case basis. And it's in their discretion, really in their power to do this, as long as entry of such aliens as refugees is in the national interest and not a threat to the security or welfare of the United States of America. Guys, so that's the order. Yeah. And so this means that for right now, if you are applying to go to the United States of America as an immigrant on a refugee status, this is now been halted, guys. That's what this means. It's been halted. Yeah, and the only way that you can actually manage to now go as a refugee is if the Secretary of State and the Secretary of Homeland Security determine your case and feel that your case would be of national interest to the United States and not a threat to the US and to the welfare of Americans. Yeah, so it's a very serious matter, guys. I think it's going to change the dynamics, especially in Africa, for Africans who have been, depending on this program to migrate to the US on refugee basis as refugees, especially from countries where there's ongoing conflict and war, places like Sudan, South Sudan, where there's not very good stability there. Maybe even, I want to say, the Central Republic, the Central African Republic. I'm just thinking of places where there's not very good stability. Yeah, anywhere where there's conflict across the continent, and even places like the DRC, Congo, where people have had to flee, where they've been seeking asylum to move to the US. This is going to have implications for them. So guys, what to do? It's I don't know. I don't even myself have answers, but I think it's a wait and see situation. I'm going to be looking closely because the president said after 90 days they're going to give him a report, and then based on that report they will be making decisions. So we're going to be waiting to see. Guys, if I see any information that I think is useful and helpful for you as a prospective migrant from Africa, I'll definitely be dropping that information here. So if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do. And for those of you who already follow me, I want to say again, asante sana. Have a lovely day, and until next time, it's goodbye from me.